that out.
Well, we've got some rule changes in 2019. Any of those rule changes that are taking place as far as post-race inspection, aero package, penalties, any of those new rule changes you think going to be a major factor in this year's Daytona 500?
I don't know. I think everybody's interested to see who's the first driver that gets tagged by the new penalties. NASCAR has already thrown a couple of people out of here this weekend because of failing inspections. Hendrick Motorsports and that team has had somebody. Germain Racing has had somebody thrown out of here. So, just like last night, they said, as far as, the no locking bumpers deal, which, has been something that NASCAR has had around for a couple of years. Last night they said they weren't going to give any warnings, and they put people on pit road and penalized them for doing that. And I think that NASCAR is going to stick to their word when it comes to new rule changes. I don't think they're going to give anybody any warnings. They're not going to give any leeways. They're just going to bounce you and give the win to whoever else. Is it going to play into this weekend? Honestly, I don't know, but I would, I would think that NASCAR is going to look these cars over very well before they declare the winner. And they've done so in the past rightfully, but I think this is a new step in that evolution.
Last question for you. We look in a couple of races through, Talladega, other races that we look at for the big one. There's always the big one in some of these races. In fact, it's part of the reason why people buy tickets to some of these races is to see the big one. Daytona 500 is one of those races where you're going to see the big one. It's almost part of your admission price. You're going to see the big one. It's just not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And we've seen some really big ones there at Daytona. We saw if we were to see a glimpse into the future of tomorrow, we saw it last week and in the Clash. But there's going to be some cars messed up, wrecked up. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. If you're in the middle of that pack, it could prove to be calamity. It could be collateral damage on your part. One, how do you not cause the big one? Two, how do you get away from the big one? But we all want to see the big one.
How do you get away from it? Well, you can't. And I think that's what kind of makes this exciting to some degree. Not to drag on Jimmy Johnson, but let's just hope that he goes to the back of the pack and we don't have a three-time wreck this weekend. But all joking aside, it's bound to happen at some point. We see drivers through the first third half of a race really trying to figure out what their cars can do, and then we see them really come to life at the end. We see some really unstable cars coming to life at the end. And, that's through some attrition, that's through some other accidents that people are able to avoid. But we've seen some really unstable cars come to the top at the end of the race. And I think for the teams, they just have to be mindful of that throughout the entire event and try not to do anything too crazy.
Steve Wilson of Speedway Digest, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor. Thanks for sticking around a few extra minutes with us there. I know you're calling us from Daytona, Florida. So just kind of give us your final thoughts, final wrap-up before we let you go and enjoy the weather and the race cars there in Florida.
I think it'll be an exciting race tomorrow. I think we're going to see possibly a first-time winner. I would like to see a first-time winner, and it's the last race that we're going to have restrictor plates in these cars.
Well, we've come to the time has come where we've got to do something really important. So stand by. Steve Wilson's official pick for the NASCAR Daytona 500 win is.
Wow, you can put me on a spot like that.
You got to throw it out there, buddy. Got to throw it out there.
Kevin Harvick. Let's go with Kevin Harvick.
Let's go with the number 2 slot. Breaking news. Steve Wilson goes with Kevin Harvick as the winner of the 2019 Daytona 500. Now, I said it a little bit earlier. I like this dark horse, and, why not? Why not go for the dark horse? I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick as your winner for the 2019 Daytona 500. And we'll see what happens. We'll get it out there on social media that who wins and who doesn't win. And maybe the both of us are going to get knocked out in the big one there. But I'll look for that fantasy invite here very soon, sir.
Okay, all right. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. You have yourself a good day. Where can people find your work of masterpieces, sir?
You can find us at Speedway Digest on Twitter, Facebook.com/Speedway Digest, and SpeedwayDigest.com.
All right, buddy. Have a good race weekend. We'll talk with you soon.
Thank you, GT.
Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest, calling us live from Daytona, Florida, the Daytona 500 weekend, boys and girls. Granddaddy of them all. It is the Indy 500 of NASCAR. It is the Super Bowl of NASCAR. It is the World Series of NASCAR. It is the Stanley Cup of NASCAR. And you heard it, that he picked Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick starts number 2 in the starting grid behind pole sitter William Byron. And we're not going to shame him for that pick because he's actually a pretty doggone good driver, and he is Jimmy John's fast, freaky fast, right? In the Jimmy John's car there. I like the dark horse though. I'm that guy. I'm going to be that guy for this weekend anyway, and that is Tyler Reddick. He's, to me, the driver that nobody's looking at, nobody's calculating a risk factor against, as long as he doesn't get caught up in that big one. Thanks to Matthew Embry, also 96.1 WSBT up in South Bend, joining us talking some college hoopage and some IndyCar talk with us. We're talking about some stuff going on in the off season as we get ready for the 2019 season. Obviously, we're getting ever so closer to the 2019 Indianapolis 500. I will be there. We'll be there with Speedway Digest as well. We'll be there with Matthew Embry as well. We'll be out in the pits. We'll be in the media center. We'll be at the interviews. We'll be doing everything Indianapolis 500 coming up in May. And can you believe that we're just less than a week away from spring? Man, it is getting good. Sun is shining. Might be a little bit deceiving, but sun is shining. Thank you also to Mo for BS Sports Show. Join us, talk some NBA, MLB spring training, some storylines in the NFL. Colin Kirkpatrick, $20 million. You got to be freaking kidding me. To play in a minor league team, if you will, and that's at best. Of course, settles his lawsuits with the NFL, which should have never happened in the first place. He's just not a good quarterback. Come on, if he was that good, somebody would have picked him up in spite of it all. Not a single team offered him anything. He's only won 17 games in his entire career. He is not that good, people. Let's get off this Colin train. Let's get up on our feet. We don't need to kneel during the national anthem anyway. Don't get me started on that rant today as well. Of course, MLB and spring training. My Cardinals, let's hope for the best. We'll see what happens out in the National League Central. Obviously, that's my favorites. See what happens in the American League as well. Can the Boston Red Sox repeat? It's always going to be good to see the Red Sox and the Yankees do the bitter rivalry. You know, a lot of great rivalries in baseball. That's one of the greatest. Certainly, the Cubs and the Cardinals is another huge one, and also the Dodgers and the Giants. Those are all fun rivalries to watch. It's getting ready to happen, and we're getting ready to be happening with baseball. We just moved out of football. I mean, hey. It's good to be a sports fan. Also, thank you, Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, calling us live from Daytona, Florida, where the Daytona 500 is going to happen this weekend. Tomorrow, our Xfinity race today at 2:30 on Fox Sports 1. Make sure you check that out. Steve Wilson picked his pick for the Daytona 500 winner, and that is Kevin Harvick. And I picked Tyler Reddick, and we'll have that up on social media as well in the world of Twitter, Facebook as well. So make sure you are following us on Twitter, on the Bird, Twitter, at T-Balance, and Facebook. Go to our fan page. Just search The Balance. We're pretty easy to find. And just hit follow or hit like. So it is really that simple. We do this thing called The Balance every Saturday. Thank you if you've downloaded the podcast, as millions of you do every single week. I tell you what, I always enjoy watching the amount of people that download our podcast, whether it's through Apple iTunes, TuneIn, or Stitcher, wherever your podcast format is at, anywhere in the nation, all across this great land, you can find us. Just search The Balance, and it's real easy to find in any of your podcast searches because, well, we're the best. We're on loan from God. My name is Tom Marquis, El Presidente, and we just do this. We just do this thing. We help you start your weekend out right. We help you start your Saturday out right. We help you, we didn't have time to do the thumbs up, thumbs down, but, hey, we get things going for you. On the weekend, and it's a long weekend for a lot of you. I mean, Monday's off on Monday, 3-day weekend. So, it's a good weekend to watch some racing. Racing, boys, yeah. Anyway, today is the day. Granddaddy of them all tomorrow. My name's Tom Marquis, El Presidente. Been great being with you today. We're coming up on our 2-minute warning. So if you got something you want to talk about, give me a call real quickly, 917-889-8516. Remember, again, to follow us on @TBalance or www.thebalanceonline.com. Find us anywhere. You can find us anywhere. And, we're making that shift from football being a primary emphasis. Obviously, Ed Kratz, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles, is our official NFL contributor. He's in the off season, so now we're bringing in some other people from the crew. Rick Riggin, also a college football guy. He's going to take a little off season break, and he'll be back with us in college football. Matthew Embry's going to continue to join us with college hoopage, and as we get into IndyCar, and of course now that we're in NASCAR season as well, Steve Wilson will be joining us pretty much on a weekly basis to break down the week in NASCAR. And then Mo will always be with us. Mo's a permanent fixture here on The Balance. And Mo helps us talk just about anything because he's Mo from BS Sports Show. So we talk NBA, we talk in the MLB, we talk really whatever the highlights and lowlights, if you will, in sports, that's for sure. My name is Tom Marquis, El Presidente, and we're going to call it a day. Remember, don't drink and drive. It isn't cool. I'm out of here. Deuces.